When you think back to when you were younger and you used to play all the games from the previous generation of consoles, there was always a hierarchy of what everyone used to play. The N64 and PlayStation had a fierce market of which console was the best at the time. To this day, even the gaming community is still taking sides on what was the best at the time. You can say that today, that history is repeating itself with Sony and Nintendo competing in the nostalgia market. There are rumors of the N64 Classic in the works. However, about a week ago, the PlayStation Classic had its list of games released to the public. Exclusives are what help define a console and gives you a look into the player base for it. Did the PlayStation Classic help keep up to this notion? Well, let's take a look and see. I think I'm going to sound like a broken record when I say that the announcements for the games for the PlayStation Classic is pretty underwhelming and lukewarm to say the least. If you haven't seen the list of games, here it is on screen now. But Mally, you stupid idiot baby moron, these games are good. Let's hold on a second, let's take notice to these games here. The games that are now highlighted is what I actually grew up with, and these are the games I'm actually interested in. The purpose of me pointing this out is to emphasize what is recognizable and what you could say helped define the PlayStation. We lost out on a lot of fun games mostly due to the lack of DualShock controllers, licensing issues, and remakes. We lost out on Crash and Spyro so Sony can cash in on the remakes. Why they decided against DualShock could be because they wanted to quickly and cheaply make the consoles and have it easier to distribute. An example for the issue of licensing, such as all of the Tony Hawk games that were released on the console. I don't think Sony wanted to blow the money on relicensing all the songs in those games again. It's pretty obvious Sony wanted to make it cheap and to compete with the SNES and NES classic consoles, but this is a lukewarm release of games for the console and they really aren't capitalizing on the games that really helped define the PlayStation. Hey, this is post-editing Mally. I had to interrupt the video just really quickly. I forgot to mention that the Japanese PlayStation Classic actually has a set of exclusive games such as Arc the Lad 1 and 2, Gradius Gaiden, and Parasite Eve for the Japanese release. Here's a quick picture of the exclusives that are for the Japanese release only, and then here is the American release. As you can kind of see, the localization is pretty prominent here, just to kind of like aim for the correct audience and blah blah blah, and you know, you can kind of make your own, you can kind of draw your own conclusions to this, but I thought I should just show this as well, to kind of just get a better and clearer view of it. So yeah, just selling to the right region. That's how you do it. back to the video. Let's step back a little bit to little Mally when he first owned a PlayStation. My family went through a lot of trouble financially when I was younger, and I really didn't own any of my own games besides Game Boy Color, and that was really the only thing that I had for gaming that I really didn't have to share with any of my cousins that I was living with at the time. However, my uncles pulled together the money and got a PlayStation quite a bit after it originally launched. The games I can remember that they had were Silent Hill, Twisted Metal 2, and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. These games are the first that come to my mind when I first played the PlayStation, but having Konami play ball with the re-release of Silent Hill, I don't really think that they would have even considered it. I never played the director's cut of the original Resident Evil, but doing some reading up on the director's cut, it never really delivered on uncensored scenes, and it gave new cosmetics to the cast of Res 1, as well as moving story-driven items around a bit. It's been years from when I last touched the Twisted Metal game, but from what I remember, I had a ton of fun playing it with my cousins growing up, and the last Twisted Metal game to be released was, bad?
Calypso, where's my god-damned prize?
Look around, Sweet Tooth. You've been given your prize. She's been dead for 10 years.
You can't kill me! You can't kill me! You can't ever kill me! I'll find you, Calypso! I'll fucking find you and fucking kill you! You will, damn Sweet Tooth!
More like 6 feet underground.
God, that game fucking sucked. So playing a better one would be nice for a change. Let's speak about the game list itself. Shooters have really made a prominent stance for the release for the classic console, leaving the 3 RPGs and 2 fighting games somewhat in the shadow. These games are by no means bad, but it feels like it's just a random selection of hand-picked games given to you. The PlayStation's best games were third-party, which isn't a surprise, but for the price that this console is being sold for, it would feel like that they would give you just a little bit more for what you're buying. Right now, the price of it is $100. The SNES and NES classics are under $60 and have comparatively better games than the PlayStation Classic. It just feels like Sony wanted to dip their foot into the nostalgia market as well, but really couldn't deliver with the lack of their own first-party games not being present for their console. I think I'm done digging into this. It's not bad, but it's a little underwhelming. I think I'll be getting it if only the price of it ever drops from the $100 market value. Please leave a comment to let me know what you guys think about the release of Sony's attempt to the classic market. As always, I'm Malimeezy. Sub for more content similar to the video that you just watched, with shitposts thrown up every now and again. Thank you for watching.